The last area I wanted to focus on today is higher customer satisfaction. So happier customers are more likely to add additional products and services, as well as more likely to provide positive word of mouth for organic growth. So you should be asking yourself here, what are we doing to increase customer satisfaction? How are we attempting to delight and amaze our customers? And how are we ensuring that we have quick resolution of any requests or issues that come from our customers so that if there is any potential friction, any potential problem, we can get that resolved quickly and seamlessly for the customer and give them a positive experience out of that issue. Thinking a little bit more about issue resolution, one of the challenges here is often that requests might span multiple teams or departments within your institution. So I might call into the call center with a request that's got to be sent out to another person or another team to finish that. And they may even have to work with another group beyond that. Maybe it's not even just two groups, maybe it's 3 or 4 that have to be involved in a particular request or issue. One of the problems that sometimes arises in that scenario is things fall through the cracks. I send something over to my coworker in the other department and they're really busy, or they're out of the office and I don't realize it. And so it sits there for a week and nothing happens. And finally the customer calls back in, asking for a status, and maybe I can't even see what the status of that request is. Maybe I just send it off into kind of a black hole and I have to call or email to try to get the status now. And that's not a good customer experience. So having a tool for case management helps avoid those issues. You can make sure nothing's getting dropped. Everyone can see the status of pending items so that if a customer comes in with another request, you can update them on something right away, or if they call for a status update. It also allows you to implement standard steps for resolution so that you're not missing important steps, you're not forgetting things that need to be done as part of the process, and allows you to automate things like case routing, notifications, and escalations where needed. So again, an example from one of our customers here, Consumers Credit Union really focused on this idea of a unified case management platform with the goal of increasing their customer satisfaction scores. Before they started looking at Creatio or implementing Creatio, they had at least 3 different platforms that they were using depending on what department the request needed to go to, which made it difficult for their employees to enter some requests and also made it impossible to get a 360 view and difficult to find the status of something. You might have to look in 3 different places to figure out what was going on. They defined over 60 unique request types that they were tracking among these platforms, or that they should be tracking in some cases. Maybe they weren't tracking them anywhere. And they're now in the process of implementing 60 distinct processes in Creatio for each of those different request type with the appropriate data fields that they need for each type of request and the appropriate processes and prompts to the user on what to do next so that all of those requests are handled in a seamless way. So what does that look like? Again, I'll give you a quick demo here in Creatio. I'm actually in the dashboards right now. So just like we saw with the analytics for contacts, you can obviously do analytics for your cases as well. Your cases can be tracked back to a particular person or commercial entity or financial account or all of the above as the case might apply. So I can pick a person here. I'm just going to pick someone at random. I can see a list of all of their accounts if they're calling about a particular account. Of course, I picked someone who doesn't have one. Let's try that again. Madison, I know, has some accounts. So I can get that filtered list already ready to go so that I'm not looking through and trying to type those numbers and potentially miskeying something. You can set up different categories of cases and even potentially different subcategories. So based on what category I pick, I can have different subcategory options available here, relevant to that particular category. And these are all completely customizable to your team or your teams, what types of cases make sense. You can route these cases to a branch or a department or a particular person. And again, that could be automated if you want, or it could be manual, whatever makes the most sense for your team. It could even vary based off of which type of case it is. You can track whatever details you need to track about the case itself. And then you can have different statuses or different steps that you want your team to follow. Again, these could be different for each particular category of case. I've got something pretty generic in here right now in my demo site because obviously these processes vary a lot from bank to bank or institution to institution. But just as an example here, I've got, a couple of prompts to the user of things that need to be completed. Obviously, these would be more descriptive than just step one and step two. You can choose whether or not these steps are required in order to move ahead to another status in your case. You can even potentially, I think if I complete both of these really quick, automate prompts on what comes next as well. So if I complete both of these two, then it goes on and says, great, the next thing you need to do is this. So a lot of flexibility there as far as automation and making sure you've got the right steps happening at the right time in the right order.